Hi, I'm Andy.
And I'm Lindsay. Welcome to E-commerce Marketing with the Pitbulls, where we try to cut through the noise and just simplify digital marketing for authentic brands looking to make more sales online.
Awesome. Today we are joined by Allison Smith and Karen Samuelson of Umai Marketing. That's a digital marketing agency based in Austin, focusing specifically on CPG brands, both e-commerce and retail. And they provide both done-for-you services as well as the consumer goods growth course, which I can say we've had some experience with. Lindsay and I just downloaded your paid social and went through that recently. So that was great. Can highly recommend. They've helped a lot of different good food brands. They've worked with brands going from 0 to 12 million in revenue, specifically using your core 3 methods. So definitely want to spend a little time talking about that, and focusing on social media marketing, social advertising, and email marketing. So welcome, Allison and Karen.
Thanks, Andy and Lindsay. It's so great to be here. We're excited.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
We are just super excited. I know that we touched base a little bit before, but just to make sure it's on the record, we're big fans of Umai, and we have been keeping an eye on y'all on the social and everything that you're putting out there course-wise. Like Andy mentioned, we jumped all over the paid social course and learned a lot, and it was just a really, really great experience. So y'all are doing really great work.
Thank you. That is awesome to hear.
Definitely. So to kick it off, we focus in on craft brands. We really like brands that have a mission and passion behind it. And from what I gather, that's definitely, right up your alley. And it seems like where your focus is as well. So I'd love to hear kind of why you decided to niche down into CPG.
Yeah. So it kind of started, Allison and I met at our first job. That was not in CPG. And then, after leaving that job, we parted ways, and I started my first CPG job at Vital Farms, which is just an egg company here in Austin. It's blown up a little bit since the early days when I started. I think I was like their 8th, 7th employee or something like that. After some time, Allison was really getting into e-commerce and paid advertising and becoming a specialist on that. And she she moved away and came back to Austin, and Austin's just a CPG hub. Like you'll see a lot of them. It's like San Francisco, Denver, Chicago, New York. There's all these CPG hubs, and Austin is thankfully one of them. So there's a lot of food and beverage brands here. And so I was focused more on like the storytelling, and I worked for brands that only sold in retail. And Allison has all this and expertise on e-commerce and advertising. So we came together and we were like, let's just do all of this for all of the CPG brands that need help.
That's so cool.
Yeah. To add to that, so I was focused more on digital products. And when Karen and I chatted and she was in this like beautiful branded physical product world, I was like, I want to sell beautiful things that you can eat and drink, so I think it's really fun to kind of merge like the digital product with physical product. And it's a really fun space to play in. And we get a lot of free snacks, which is my favorite part.
The best part, right?
Right.
Yeah, I find that's always so cool just to, be a part of helping to tell that story, but then also just to like enjoy, sharing with friends and family, and halfway through trying a new candy bar or a new whatever it is, you say, oh, actually we work with this group, and yeah, we're running their ads for them. So it's always kind of a good little perk.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say is the hardest part of marketing specifically for CPG? What makes it different than other products?
Yeah, I'm happy to start. It is for me, I've most of my experience, like I said, was digital products, and really I've only been in the CPG physical product space for like almost 5 years now. Love it. But it is so multifaceted. There's so many elements that go into getting that product that consumers see on the shelves or on a Shopify site. As a consumer, back in the day before I entered this world, you just go to the grocery store and you just think, wow, that looks good, I'll take it. But like knowing how much goes into that now is wild. And I would say, dealing with, if there's a supply chain issues, I know everyone has dealt with supply chain issues over the past year. If you haven't, awesome, good for you. But, just understanding and working directly with founders and them saying, we don't have inventory for you. So just being very flexible and saying, okay, well, we will lower our ad spend or, stop ad spending. We'll start back up again, and just being flexible and understanding that everyone's doing their best. And, you can't go full speed all the time with especially startup CPG companies who are just trying to get product on shelves or on web. So that's what I think. What do you think, Karen?
I mean, spot on. It's something that we deal with all the time. So that's exactly right. I would say another thing is food and beverage. CPG encompasses a lot more than that, right? It's a product that you need to replenish often. So it could be household, it could be pet stuff, but food and beverage or beauty, we love beauty. So I got to shout that out. But food and beverage is like rooted in a lot of things that we do. And a lot of that comes from like, you have to taste it. You have to actually like consume this product. That requires like a lot of trial. And so while we are oftentimes focused on D2C and e-commerce because that's where we thrive and that's where the world is going eventually, there is a lot of importance in retail and just supporting retail as much as we can and understanding and kind of having the founders and brands accept that you can't really attribute some of the things that you do to retail sales. I'm sure you guys feel the exact same way. So I think that is a big struggle, but as long as we're building community online and just generating a lot of brand awareness as much as we can, reaching as many people as we can, sometimes that is, an end goal for someone that's trying to grow on retail.
That's always the challenge, right? It's like, you got to taste it to fall in love and to build that kind of authentic relationship. But when you're especially trying to find new customers online, it's like, well, where do you go here? How are you kind of telling that story through just the digital side? Not to mention, margins, especially when you start thinking about shipping, I feel like always becomes a big problem. It's tough to be competitive, especially as starting out with smaller budgets in some of these channels. So yeah, it's awesome. It's definitely, it's a lot of fun, and there's a lot of passion behind a lot of these brands, but it can be challenging getting started on the marketing side.
Yeah, it's a lot of passion. I want to +1 on that. It's just people want it so bad and they work so hard, and it makes our jobs easier too, because like we want it really bad because they do, and we believe in their product because they do. So I think keeping that passion up, hopefully you can keep it up and it doesn't, peter out over time. But yeah.
Definitely. Awesome. Well, so I know today we want to do a deep dive, go pretty deep in on the social channel, talk about a lot of the different platforms that we can hit across social. But before we do that, I know you all have found a lot of success, and I really love your simplified kind of method for bringing these CPG brands to market. Can you tell us a little bit about your Core 3 method and what that's all about?
Yeah. So quickly, when Karen and I started this agency, we quickly understood that, like we were talking about earlier, there's a lot of things going on, a lot of things that founders are dealing with. They're wearing a lot of hats, and we wanted to try to simplify it and defeat overwhelm is one of our missions. It's not always possible, but we try to do that by simplifying marketing with our course, and also simplifying it with our services. So we don't pretend to be good at anything that we're not. So we're never going to sell someone on PPC because we're not experts there. We would refer them to someone like you. But basically our 3-pronged approach, the Core 3 method, is social media, That includes things like influencer, all the content creation, all the community building that goes into that. Social advertising on, we prefer Meta, and now TikTok is playing a big game there. And then email marketing, the OG of marketing. Still, I think people kind of undervalue it because it's not as like sexy as all the other channels. But it's generally going to get you, those are your hottest leads. It's going to get you the highest ROI. And like I said, we focus there because that's where we're great at. But it also really creates like this nice foundation for brands as well in the CPG space. And that's not to say that PPC and Amazon and all those things, like omni-channel is where we want our brands to get. But yeah, that's our core 3 method.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love the simplicity of it. That's something we deal with every day, that especially out there when you have limited time on marketing, there's just so many different strategies and so many different things. And at the end of the day, really a lot of them could work, but it's so important to have a way to cut through the noise and find a way to get to like, okay, this is what we actually need to do. This is our best next step. So we've really enjoyed kind of looking through the way you position that core 3 and just how that makes it simple.
I wanted to touch on something that Karen said earlier, and I feel like this will be a nice segue into talking about the overall state of social media and the trends that you all are seeing. But Karen, you mentioned building community online. And I feel like in my experience talking with clients about that, a lot of them do not see the benefit of building community online. And in fact, kind of scares them a little bit. Can you talk a little bit about what that's like working with CPG brands and what that looks like to build community online, especially in these spaces?
Yeah. Allison, I will say it until the last day we market CPG brands, but really building community and having a face to your brand, having that founder forward content and making connections with people that you want to purchase your product is so paramount. I mean, not every brand is going to have or want founder forward content. Not every brand needs it. I mean, budgets vary greatly across brands, right? If you have the budget to be able to hire a lot of content creators, have huge affiliate influencer programs, that's wonderful. That's great. That's building community with the dollars that you have been, you've earned yourself or you've been offered. But for brands that don't have a big budget and are working on 1 to 2 person teams, building a community and making like personal connections with themselves and their customers is such a big deal. It's more important than I think people can accept just because of how difficult it is to do. It's not, not everybody is good at making connections with other people. So we really recommend just looking at brands that do a really, really great job of this. So like Fly by Jing, Omsom, we love this pancake brand called Vicky Cakes that I always shout out because they're so great. I mean, Cocoa Kind is such a big one. It's like these brands that can make connections with their mission, who they are, the founder as well, where they come from, where they're going with the customers. Like those connections are what make brand advocates. It's not just like those one-off sales where someone's going to buy it and never think of you again. They want to support you because they like you. And everybody always talks about know, like, trust. And that is how you build that with community and like personal interaction.
I love that. And I love that that's such a focus of what you all do and something that I see touted across everything that you put out. What do you say to maybe a founder who sees that, knows the importance, but is a little scared to put themselves out there? I'm sure you've run into founders who are like, I don't want my whole life out there. I don't want someone to know my story that deeply. What would you say to a founder like that?
Yeah, I think Karen would be best to answer this, but I just want to say it's very vulnerable to get on camera and everyone, I mean, most people struggle with that. And you do have to be vulnerable if that's your choice. But something I just read, and I can't remember who said it was saying that all great new startup companies, the founder is a content creator at this point, which I found really interesting. And I would love to hear what Karen has to say about that one though.
Yeah, I mean, that's so normal. Allison and I show up on video all the time. Does it still feel extremely awkward sometimes? Yes. If my partner walks in the room while I'm doing it, I'm like, get out. Like I cannot have anybody looking at me right now. Even though a lot of people are looking at me through the camera, it's such a weird dynamic and you just got to lean into it, So my biggest recommendation is to prepare. So do your research, find the brands where you're like, oh, they kill it. I love how they do it. Even find brands where you're like, oh, that's go them. Good job. Like, I don't want to be portrayed like that. Find brands and follow them and study them and do the work. I mean, it takes effort. A lot of founder forward content. I mean, if you're not on social media, if you're not at least active on it a little bit to see what's going on, you're not ever going to be able to create content. You don't know how to do it. So just doing the research and then preparation, just like having a spreadsheet. If you're sitting down, you want to make like 10 reels that day or 10 reels over the course of a month, whatever it is, have columns for like the title or the hook, the key notes that you want to have throughout the video. Even if you want to like have a script in the video, write the script down, just do your research and prepare and keep trying because it does get easier over time.
I love to just the kind of environment we're in right now. I think that little less polished product is so much more acceptable. And if anything is kind of better, it gives you a little more transparency, build a little bit deeper connection with the customer. So, if your partner walks in or your dog gets up and gives a heavy sigh halfway through, like those types of things, I feel like just kind of add, I know Lindsay, you're laughing. That's like the call out there. I feel like that, but yeah, it just adds to the character of it. Really, those are the things that we kind of expect from our brands these days. So, if anything, hopefully that makes it a little bit easier, a little bit more approachable.
100%, and I think that's maybe the one good thing. I'm sure there's more, but the one good thing I can think of that came out of COVID was like the death of perfect influencers and like all that. Like people were just sitting at home and watching these people go on like amazing vacations and looking great. And that was not reality at all. And it kind of flipped the switch for a lot of people to want more relatable content. And that's super great for brands because we can do that. We can create lo-fi relatable content. So yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's pivot a little bit. I guess not too much. I want to spend some time just kind of going through when I'm thinking about social, especially thinking about kind of paid ads and really digging into, how we're getting our products sold on social. I'm primarily thinking about, Meta between Facebook and Instagram, TikTok to a degree. I know there's a few other platforms out there, but you all are the social experts. So I wanted to spend some time, if you could just kind of walk us through, what's kind of the state of play? What's the, what's working? What isn't working? What are some of the trends you're seeing across these different platforms would be awesome. So I guess maybe we'll start with Meta. I know that's kind of the biggest area that most people go to. So yeah, take it away.
Yeah, I can speak on the paid part of that. So Meta, I know we all hate it, but it is still the best place that we've seen to advertise for conversions. So if you want sales, Meta is where generally most brands are going to play. People hate giving them money, but hey, it works. Yeah. And Meta, just to be clear here, includes Facebook and Instagram. We generally run ads that target both channels and then, niche down from there once we're understanding where the brand plays. But in terms of trends there, we'll talk about TikTok in a second, but we are pulling, TikTok is kind of like where we look to create our creatives. So what you want to do generally is like create a creative that is mobile and TikTok first. And edit it on Instagram to use Instagram's native text and then publish it and lean on the trends that you're seeing on TikTok and things like that. But yeah, Meta is there for your conversions. You're gonna be able to attribute sales to your campaigns. With TikTok, we are playing in TikTok, and it's a super fun space. But we use TikTok more for like extreme top of funnel. So for TikTok, we're looking at brand awareness and video views. And we also run follower campaigns. I will say, if you want a lot of social proof, play on TikTok. Their cost per follow is like 20 cents. It's pretty amazing. Awesome. But yeah, it's not really a channel that you can see a lot of attribution come in. It's more of a longer game to play on TikTok, get those clicks over to site, get those video views, and then use Meta to retarget and also prospect for new customers.
Now, I know there's a lot of automation going on, especially with these Advantage Plus campaigns. So, it's possible to just kind of throw up a lot of different assets and kind of figure out, what's working and where things are going. But can you talk a little bit about how you think about kind of curated assets, whether it be images, video versus just pulling directly kind of product-based information for kind of catalog ads? And I know we can kind of throw all that together into one campaign now, which is kind of cool. But yeah, how do you do that?
So yeah, video is queen all across the board. We use a lot of UGC. So what you want to think about on Meta and TikTok is what is native, what looks very native. So when a consumer is scrolling through their Instagram, they're not necessarily going to see this super salesy ad and engage with it and watch it till the end. But if they see something that it looks like a friend or family or influencer posted, but it's really a brand, they're going to engage with that, and they're going to, they're not going to be turned off. And those are the types of ads that work the best for at least CPG brands. That's not to say that we don't still run catalog ads and other types of ads as well. Those usually work really well at bottom of funnel. But yeah, 100%, we are full believers of native UGC creatives, if you're as a video as well. And we're really getting into, like I said, like the pulling from TikTok to Meta. So creating these like really cool mashup videos where like the video changes every 3 seconds. You have a really strong hook at the end. Then you're talking about the product benefits, you're adding testimonials, but the video is just changing, because that's literally the only way you're going to keep someone's attention these days. So yeah, that's how we think about creatives.
Awesome.
I have a question about that. Probably a little more nebulous. So don't feel bad if you want to say, I'd really rather pass on that one. I know that when Instagram was sort of getting called out for becoming like a TikTok copycat, and people were kind of really putting their feet to the fire and saying, we really want this app to be photo focused. That's why we joined it. If we wanted to be on TikTok, we'd be on TikTok. And I think they kind of backpedaled a little bit from being so video focused. But I think it kind of speaks to what they know works and what people are actually watching. So I'm kind of curious in your opinion on that. You're saying video's queen, which I think we would definitely agree with that. But do you think that there's still something to be said for keeping Instagram photo focused, or should people really be pushing towards video on all those platforms?
From a paid perspective, like video just allows brands, storytelling is the most important part. So video just allows you to tell your story. For paid side, I want to keep that video aspect. But what would you say to that on the organic side, Karen?
Yeah, that's a great question. And like you hear it, people screaming it, like photographers specifically screaming it, that's not why I'm here. So it's for the reach, right? we encourage reels, we encourage video content because it has the most opportunity to reach more people. If you post a static post, if you post a carousel, the only way that you're going to reach more people is with hashtags. I don't believe in hashtags. That's just my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Or shares. So depending on how many people are going to look at your content and be like, "Ooh, yeah, I'm going to share that to my stories. I'm going to share that to my group of friends through DM." That's how you're going to reach more people. But with video content, the opportunity to reach more people is immensely higher just because of how the algorithm interacts with it. So I would say for more established brands, when they're posting carousels and static posts and all that good stuff, they should be seeing, in theory, decent engagement. We're not looking at engagement rates from a year ago, from 2 years ago. We need to compare our engagement rates to like 6 months ago, just because of how things have changed. We cannot compare that because it's immensely different. We're seeing lower engagement rates across the board on average. So brands that have a bigger following, have a bigger community, their community is there. They have the opportunity to reach them because they're already following them. And sure, they might not be, they may be pushed back. They might not be able to see you because you're far below their algorithm, but the opportunity is there. But for a new brand who has not a lot of followers, not a lot of reach, that video content is necessary to reach as many people as possible to try and build that community. So we love video. We acknowledge that it's hard to do sometimes, but just getting creative with it, like finding a relatable tweet and putting a video background on it, or even posting a photo as a video with some music and some text overlay, just getting creative with your video content, but knowing, of course, you can post the other content too, but just don't expect the same kind of reach and growth from it.
Awesome. I'm curious, I rang a bell when you were talking about engagement. One of the concerns we have are kind of, some folks, as we're getting started with paid ads on these social channels, get a little bit concerned about the engagement side or comments on their ads. I'm curious if you can kind of talk to that. I think a lot of people's first instinct is like, hey, can I find a way to turn off comments? I know on Instagram it's possible, on Facebook kind of possible, a little less so. There's workarounds, but I guess maybe it kind of gets back to kind of putting yourself out there. But when you're paying for ads and you're putting money behind every single impression, you really want to make sure that you're not having these negative comments on there. But yeah, I'm curious if you kind of have your take on that, because I know that gives some people some sleepless nights.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's so funny starting a brand who's never run ads before, and they'll start to see those comments and they're like, pause everything. And it's just like, it's usually Facebook. And it's like, this is normal. People troll Facebook all the time and just comment weird things. It's totally normal. What you actually want to look at are your KPIs. So if you don't have a high click-through rate, if you're paying too much for the cost to reach 1,000 people, then it's not a great ad. But if you do have a high click-through rate and all those other things, and you're just getting weird comments, that's just trolling, and that's normal. But we are big fans, and in our agency, we have a person whose sole job is to engage with the community, including, either commenting or blocking and deleting, if they're truly a troll, those types of comments on ads. It's really important to be in front of those. So like, if you're spending a good amount, you might need someone to check it daily and make sure that you get those bad comments off your ad, because it will drop. It will affect your KPIs. But yeah, it's just part of advertising at this point. I will say a lot of comments are super helpful. A lot of people will comment like really great things that we can then pull into organic content or pull for a new ad creative. So yeah, just the name of the game.
Do you prefer, I mean, obviously it's one thing to like way out there, complete troll comments, but things that are, I guess, constructive feedback or constructive criticism, do you prefer blocking those out or engaging with them directly and, explaining, why that is or explaining how that comes from the brand?
Yeah. We only block complete trolls, but if it's like a real human with a real problem, trolls are humans too, sorry. But if it's constructive or legit, absolutely you need to respond. Hopefully you can take it off the ad. But absolutely you need to respond. That's just like Karen was talking about, like, this is your community. And if you're not willing to interact with the good and the bad, then you're not being like a good leader, really.
That's great. Awesome. Well, I know we're running up. We've had, this has been a great conversation. We've got, I think, just a ton of value there. I'm really glad that we've been able to kind of go through all the different social channels and some of the value and trends on different ones. In the interest of time, we like to do a little segment here called What's Good when we end our interviews, just a little bit of good news or a recommendation for the week. Let's do a quick little lightning round around to do our What's Good. Lindsay, do you want to kick it off?
I sure will. It's hot chocolate season, and I am so excited that so many brands are getting to hot chocolate bombs. I feel like I'm seeing them everywhere on the shelves. And so I bought like so many. My cabinets are full of them right now. And I just am having so much fun having a different hot chocolate every night. And so I'm just going to say, I'm so happy it's hot chocolate season. That's my What's Good.
That's awesome. Are you a hot chocolate on any given night, or does it have to be cold and wait until you've been outside?
Oh no, I will be like, it's warm, but I'm still going to have it, which is funny because I'm an iced coffee person. I do not like hot coffee. I have to have an iced coffee, but I'll have hot chocolate anytime. And I have been for the past few weeks.
That's great. Awesome. Mine for this week is voting. So I don't know when this will hit the airwaves, but yesterday got a chance to get out and vote. So yeah, just exciting. I feel like it's easy to take for granted, but it was great to get out and participate in the electoral process. And yeah, that was my good thing for the week.
Did you get a fun sticker?
I do. Yeah, actually I have it right here.
You have yours?
I've been saving. I took it off to try to take it off gingerly so I can give it to my son so he can play with it. But then I forgot to give it to him last night. So
that's a good sticker. That's not like the normal one. Yeah, you got a fun one.
Yeah, like a lot of them are different this year.
That one.
Oh, yeah, that's cute.
People holding hands. I thought that was a cute one.
Yeah.
Awesome. We'll kick it over to the Umai team.
I'll go first. What's good? I am so thankful for our team right now. We are deep into Q4 holiday, Black Friday, true madness, and we can feel it from every angle. And what's good is our team right now. They're so professional and so calm, cool, and collected, and just getting it done and asking for help and delegating. And it's just Allison and I appreciate it so much. And we think about how lucky we are very often about it. And I feel it in this moment.
That's awesome. It's great when you hit that kind of flow state and everybody's rowing in the same direction.
Yeah. Karen stole mine. So no, our team, honestly, I don't know how we got so lucky, but they are just a group of badass rock stars and just God, so proud of them. They kill it. So let me think. Well, it's been raining here. And my favorite thing in the world is sweaters and fuzzy socks. So it's getting colder, it's raining. So I get to wear sweaters and fuzzy socks, and that makes me happy.
That's awesome. Allison, I just noticed that your dog had shifted. I guess we decided that we like the other armrest now.
Yeah, this is his life. He just, goes from one side to the other of the couch and sleeps all day. I'm very jealous.
Can confirm.
It's like the best possible Zoom background, right?
Yeah, that's true.
What's his name?
Frank.
Frank.
So he doesn't even respond. He's too busy sleeping.
I think I saw a little eye pop. Are you talking about me up there?
Yeah, he said, take a message. I'll answer later.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right. So that's it for our show today. Thank you so much to Allison and Karen of Umai Marketing. Want to give you all a quick moment. I know we talked about your Core 3 system and the growth course. But yeah, where can our listeners find you, and what should they be looking for when they get there?
I'm happy to go.
I was like, do you want me to go?
It's like, I'm on mute. Yeah, you can find us at Umai Marketing, UMAI Marketing on Instagram and TikTok. We love talking to you there. So if you have any marketing questions, you can DM us, all that good stuff. You can find us at umaimarketing.com. And yeah, we have a masterclass. It's called the Consumer Goods Masterclass. And we are teaching people some actionable strategies from our core 3. So organic, paid, and email. And you can find that at umaimarketing.com/masterclass. And it's completely free. We do talk about our full growth course at the end, but there are a lot of actionable nuggets throughout. So yeah, that's how you can find us.
That's great. We'll make sure to have that link in the show notes.
Awesome. Thanks for having us, y'all.
Yeah. Thanks for being here. Lindsay, do you want to read us out?
Yeah. And if you liked what you heard today, smash that subscribe button. I want to put like something like, I don't remember what that show is called. I'm blanking. What is that show?
The rainbow one?
Yeah. Something like that. See, we're on the same wavelength. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Smash that subscribe button, get notified when we launch new episodes. And if you're ready to take the next step in your digital marketing journey, check out ppcpivots.com/assessment to take our digital marketing maturity assessment, and we'll help you determine your next step. Thank you both so much for being here. We are going to continue to watch you as big fans, and hope you all have a good rest of your day.
Thanks.
Awesome. Likewise. Thank you.